It's bloodshed. It's genocide. People in the streets and no one is helping them. They are just fighting with bare hand and they are facing bullets.
For Kiwi Iranian sisters Zohra and Mariam, watching scenes like this unfold on the streets where they grew up has been horrific.
It's just a battlefield. Anytime we open our Instagram, we see people being killed. How the world can stay silent?
A month of unrest, sparked by the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in police custody, arrested for not wearing her hijab correctly. What happened to Mahsa resonates strongly with these sisters.
Every molecule in my body could understand what she has gone through.
As teenagers living in Iran, they too were arrested for not wearing their hijab properly and spent a night in jail.
We were just walking in the street and we were stopped by the, again, so-called morality police, and then they asked us actually to get in the car, but because I was just only 17 years old and I was so stressed out and I started crying. They started forcing me, pushing me, dragging me to get me inside the car.
Can you explain to people watching that it's not a protest against the hijab itself?
So we are not protesting because we are against Islam. It's the opposite. We are protesting because we would like to have freedom for everybody, including Muslims, Christians, Baha'i, anyone in the country, to have freedom and express themselves in the way that they want.
Across Iran, tens of thousands march. Last week, protesters hacked into Iran state TV to broadcast this message: join us and rise up. The pushback is brutal. Hundreds have been killed. And in the past day, this jail, full of protesters and political prisoners, has been set on fire with fears it was lit by the regime. This is so much more than a protest now. It is an uprising, a revolution, the biggest threat to the Islamic Republic in their more than 40 years of oppressive rule. Imagine an Iran that looks like this again.
Iran was free. They had the basic human rights. They were free to, express themselves in the way that they wanted. They had freedom of speech.
Zohra and Mariam have experienced that freedom here in New Zealand for almost a decade. Both PhD graduates lecturing at AUT and Waikato University. But their loved ones are still back in Iran. Are you worried that your friends and family will be killed?
Of course we are worried.
Around the world, many women have marched and cut their hair in solidarity.
Until the women of Iran are free, we are going to stand with you. Jian, Azadi, women, life, freedom.
But Mariam and Zohra say what people fighting for their freedom in Iran need is action from the rest of the world.
I'm sure this time is different from any other protest that happened in Iran. This time is different. This generation is different. It's not a time to look away. Each time we look away, another life is taken away. Enough is enough. No, enough is enough for Iran.
Amazing, those two sisters, amazing. And I'm so glad that you sat down and gave them the platform to talk about what's going on, because it has been happening for a month. But I'll be honest, I actually didn't know that many people were being killed in this. I knew the protests were happening. I did not realise just how many people were dying. And I think something's changed over the weekend. I've noticed more and more people talking about this. Harry Styles held up a sign on his tour. Someone in the audience had that sign. He held it up. Britney Spears tweeted about it, so tweeted her support. Angelina Jolie, who is a very famous activist, she has also spoken about it. So there's something changing. People are hungry for knowledge and wanting to do more. But beyond also posting about it online, what can we actually do?
Yeah, well, the sisters and actually Iranians in New Zealand have been very clear to me about what they need, and that is they want the New Zealand government to end having normal diplomatic relations with Iran. They want their ambassador here in New Zealand expelled and sent back there, and our diplomats that are there pulled out of there. They also want the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, which is the police that is responsible for those atrocities, to be declared a terrorist organisation, which I think anybody who saw what we were watching there could say would be terrorist acts. But knowing those two sisters relatively well, I also know something else that they want from us, and that is that they want Kiwis to care about what is happening in Iran. Those two sisters were very determined today to be a voice for their people, and I just want to say to them, you've done your job, you should be proud of yourselves, and now we need to help be a voice for them too.
Yeah, and thanks to you as well, Paddy. Great piece.